it's Dr. Pavanka. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Chinese herbs with dogs and cats. We also do use them for horses. I typically stick to Jingtang herbs because I know they do a lot more quality control. They're the ones I'm most comfortable with because the acupuncture program that I attended actually is kind of linked to that company. So there are a lot of different indications for herbs. There are some to help prevent kennel cough, like Jade Green 8. There are some for like asthma that you can use. One of my favorites is body sore, which is really good for osteoarthritis. But at the end of the day, each of them aren't necessarily for our Western medicine diagnosis. They're more for our traditional Chinese medicine diagnosis. So a lot of times we do more of a pattern diagnosis that includes our Zongfu organs. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and find a veterinarian who does more integrative veterinarian work, and they can potentially get you set up with what herb to do. I do use extreme caution with herbs and essential oils just because I do worry about toxicities quite a bit. Cats in particular have a tough time metabolizing some of those, and a lot of them can be very toxic to them. So I do always do due diligence as far as trying to make sure that there's nothing in there that they can't have. But I found a lot of the Jingtang herbal blends are pretty safe for dogs and cats. And when I have a question, I know that I can go ahead and email the company and they'll get back to me shortly. But I do use the body sore for my horse. And I have definitely used some of the other ones too for my animals. But that is something to go ahead and try. The biggest downside to our herbs is if you start them too fast, you can have some GI upset like vomiting or diarrhea. Typically it's diarrhea. A lot of times what I do is I start them off on a lower dose that's actually below probably what they need to have that therapeutic effect. And then I work them slowly up to the dose that I want them to be on. Depending on the herb, there are some times where you have to take them off just to give their body a break. And the general rule, similar to the general rule with acupuncture, spinal manipulation, and food therapy is, as long as the pattern's been going, it's going to take at least twice that for you to see a big response to that herbal supplement. Again, it's not as easy as our Western medicine where we just like are saying, okay, you have arthritis, here's your arthritis bed. We really look at our pulse diagnosis and our pattern diagnosis to figure out what would work best for that pet. And that's where we go ahead and get them started on that. I do believe Jingtang has a registry of all of their veterinarians who have agreed to be on the registry that have what they are certified for, so you can get food therapy, herbal, spinal manipulation, or even the acupuncture. With that, you do also have a lot of crossover. I know when I was going and taking acupuncture classes, they did talk quite a bit about the herbals you can pair with those. And there are phone apps and everything else to help me go through and make sure that I have the right one to use. So if you do have any questions about that, let me know. If you are a client and I've seen your pet and you're interested in it, definitely let me know. Otherwise, I would go and find a different vet who does do more Chinese medicine and herbal, because it is a very important part of the options that you have for your pet.